We learn about sound essentials in this next how-to demo.
Welcome back, it's Rob Fitzhugh here, and I'm going to take you through the importance of sound. If I was ever to invest any money in equipment for shooting on my phone, sound would be something I would really prioritize. I'm going to take you through a handful of very inexpensive sound options that you can get, and at the same time I'm also going to talk a little bit about the different do's and don'ts of how to record sound. So let's get cracking on covering these topics. You've probably seen these on news or television anytime someone's doing an interview. I'm wearing a wireless one here. If you're interviewing someone one-on-one and there's not a lot of movement, this is the ideal microphone to have. It also minimizes the level of sound outside of this person talking. So if there's a noise outside or there's talking or there's something further down the room, the chances of that being picked up on the microphone are really low. Or if you're in a situation where you need to record the sound of two people at once. There is versions out there of this that have two connections that you can attach to the person and yourself. So again, you can record really good audio. Important things to remember with this microphone. Remember to run this up through the shirt or up through the top so that you can't see the wire hanging down, because the wire hanging down can look a little bit unprofessional. It needs to go above the navel but below the neck. And this is really important. If you connected your microphone too far down here, as I talk, you're not going to be able to hear my sound as clearly because I'm too far away from the microphone. So you need to ensure that the microphone is connected. Remember, think above the navel but below the neck when attaching your microphone to ensure that you're going to get the best level of sound. Make sure that nothing's banging off it. If you are attaching this to a subject who has long hair, you need to make sure that the subject keeps their hair off the microphone. But you also have to take into account people who have beards. If it's too high up, it can pick up a small kind of scratching noise on the video, which is very hard to remove and can end up eroding the sound and making your video sound a little bit unprofessional. Depending on the type of microphone, in some instances you'll see this, they turn these microphones upside down. And the reason you might turn one of these upside down is if you attach this too close to somebody's mouth, people give off pulses, which is P's, and they also breathe onto the microphone. So it can end up causing a kind of a breath noise or a pulsive noise every time they say certain words. And by turning the microphone upside down and recording, you can help to avoid situations like that. It's something with a very long cable, because remember, it runs directly into a phone or into a camera, and you want to have a bit of movement and you want your subject to be able to move and get comfortable. The wireless lavalier mic. In this capacity, if I was wearing this, I would have full movement and the camera would be able to follow me and you'd be able to pick up excellent sound as we move. One of these little microphones you can get for €14 and up, but I would say that if you plan on doing lots of interviews, something like this would be a really great investment. A common question that always comes up is how to connect these microphones to your phones. Generally, a lot of newer model phones don't have a headphone adapter. Generally, they're all built into one space on your phone. So if you look at your phone right now, it should have one little port at the bottom, and that port is generally what you use to attach headphones, chargers. Everything runs through one port. So in order for you to connect microphones to your phone, you're going to need to get something like this. So if you're an Android user, it might be a Type-C USB, or if you're an iPhone user, it'll be something like this. There's a little lightning jack. Sometimes they come with your phone. Sometimes if you have a pair of headphones, these might connect to it. And really, these allow you to run any sort of device through your phone. So essentially what you would do is you connect this in here like this, and you take the end of your microphone and you attach it in here, okay? And what this little thing is doing is it's converting your microphone so that it's able to record sound through your phone. You must remember that when you've got this connected, you're not going to be able to hear back your sound. So one thing I would recommend doing is when you're recording sound is to run a test very quickly just to see what the audio sounds like before you proceed. There's nothing worse than recording an entire interview with somebody only to find out afterwards that the microphone wasn't working, or it was pressed against their clothes and it was making a noise. So it's really important to record that test. But it's also important to remember that with this connected in, when you record and you play it back on your phone, it's not going to play back with sound. So you might be terrified. You might go, oh my God, my video didn't record any sound. But in actual fact, all you need to do is pop that out and press play and you should be able to hear it. There is adapters you can get that allow you to connect this and to listen to headphones. But really it's just a case of running a test, taking this out, listening back to see if you're happy with the sound. If you are happy, proceed. If you're not, adjust with a few more things in the room to make sure the sound is a lot better. But that is how you connect any microphone to your phone, unless of course you're using something like this, which is a wireless microphone. But again, even this has to be connected to a phone somehow, and inevitably we end up using one of these. These are very, very inexpensive. You can pick them up for about €10, I think. But it's very important to have on these because this allows you to connect all manner of devices to your phone in order to record sound moving forward.
I started my career with Rate in 2016. Rate
was started in 2005.
Rate was started in 2005.
Remember when we talked about lavalier microphones, we talked about how they capture sound only around the person who's talking. Also, those microphones come with a wire, which reduces the amount of movement that somebody might have. What a shotgun microphone does is a little bit different. It's important to keep yourself within, I think, 3 feet of this microphone in order to get optimal, really good sound. But where this really excels is if you're doing like vox pop-ups or you're out on the street and you're trying to interview somebody, this is ideal because you can capture them in the moment. You don't need to attach a microphone to them like here. You can just run up, hit record and capture them talking. If they're on the street, say you're interviewing somebody as part of the St. Patrick's Day festival, you're going to be able to capture their vocals really clearly, but you're also going to be able to capture the ambiance of the event, which is really going to help sell the idea of where they are and the excitement about where they are. This is also great if you're interviewing 2 people next to each other because you can move your camera, you move your phone left and right to pick up their vocals. So if somebody's talking, you can get their point and you can move to the next person to get their point. The drawbacks to a microphone like this, as I said, is you need to be within a certain distance for it to work, and you get that ambient noise. So if that's not something you want, if you don't want to pick up the background sound, say you're interviewing somebody sitting in a chair like I am now talking to camera, but you know there's a fridge on somewhere that's making a consistent humming noise, this microphone mightn't be the best for that situation because it might pick up me, it might pick up the sound of the fridge, it might pick up sounds outside. But if out in the street you're moving, this is the ideal microphone, especially if you have to move from place to place, if you have to get sound bites from multiple different people. A shotgun microphone like this is the best way to go. You might see some of these and they're called dead cats. These are things that sit on top of these microphones. You could be outside recording an interview with somebody and you could say to yourself, God, it's a very calm, really, really nice day. And then you bring your video in after you've recorded the interview and you find out that there's a kind of a rattle noise on the video. And that's because the mic is so sensitive, it's going to be picking up slight bits of air or breeze that's passing across the microphone. This helps protect your microphone from this air. So if you're going to go outside and use one of these, you really, really, really need to have a dead cat. If you don't have one of these and you want to record outside, there is several different little things you can do. Think about your surroundings. Maybe you want to stand behind a wall, maybe you figure out what way the wind is blowing and find something to act as a natural blocker for that. Of course, to use one of these microphones with your phone, you're going to need some way to connect it. You might need to get something like this, okay? And what these are these little plastic rigs. They're relatively inexpensive. They allow you to attach things like your microphone to the top. So this way, when you're recording sound, you can imagine your phone is in here and you're recording sound. It allows you to remain stable while you're using your unit, but it also gives you a place to put your directional microphone. A lot of times if you're recording blogs at home, people use this because it allows them to speak directly into the microphone. It allows them to stay there. It's all stationary. It acts as a place to keep everything nice and easy, so you don't have to worry too much about this getting in the way. But in order to utilize something like this, you're going to need something like this. But this is great for when you're outdoors and it's an integral piece of your kit if you need to go down that road.
John Collins, why are you here today?
I'm here today because I'm a traveller men's health worker.
And so am I. I'm
a traveller men's health worker from Harvey Point.
John Collins, why are you here today?
I'm here today because I'm a traveller men's health worker.
And so am I.
I'm a traveller men's health worker from Harvey Point.
For more information, visit the following link.